it's Arthur again, and today I have this 1996 Mercedes W202. If you're new to my channel, thank you for joining. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I have a lot of videos on different cars and different repairs. I get a lot of cars, and I don't record videos on every car, but I do try to record videos on more of interesting cars or the interesting repairs. Whenever I see one, I try to make a video out of it. So as far as this car goes, it is an early 202, a 96 280C. However, it had different parts combined to it. You know, it has some modifications. It has a 99 E55 engine on it, a C43 transmission, C36 body kit, C43 interior, steering wheel, as well as few other modifications, different wheels and stuff. Let me show you around the car. Okay, let's take a quick look around the car. It is white. It recently got a new paint job. This car wasn't looking too hot to paint, so the owner decided to repaint it. It looks a lot better. It does have a 215 or a 220 S or CL AMG wheels. It does have AMG brakes from C55, I believe. Wheels are staggered with Michelin tires. Interior is black. However, it is going to get interior replacement with the black and white seats that came on the C43. I believe the owner has the seats already. He's just going to replace them. But this one is in really nice shape too, actually. It does have the sport trim, which looks great. It's this carbon fiber looking trim, as well as the white gauges that came on a sport package C-Class. C43 steering wheel, looks pretty cool. Same C43 seats. The headliner looks great. Overall, it's in pretty good shape. The roof has been refinished in black, and I think it looks good. Overall, it flows well with the car. It does have a C36 exhaust. As you heard, it is a little quiet, so might go back to a different setup. I think these wheels work really well on it. They're big enough, but not too big, and they fit very well. Let's take a look at under the hood. Alright, here's the 5.4 liter V8. As I mentioned, this is from an E55, I believe, a 99. And it has been rebuilt. Whoever owned this car, he was a Mercedes tech or something, and he rebuilt all the engine and everything, and he put it back together. Overall, it looks good. There's no leaks, really. It does have some M113K airboxes on it. Looks like, I'm not sure what is this from. I don't think that's a M113K, but whatever that's from, it's working on it. So the reason why this car is here is going to get a new water pump and a thermostat, as there's some coolant leak right there on top of the water pump. I'm going to replace those, as well as it got a new fuel pump, which I replaced already. And also it was having an issue with the idle. It wouldn't respond to the throttle. Issue with the throttle, I guess. And we ended up replacing the ECU, and it runs fine now. No issues. The ECU that was on it, somehow it got damaged and it wasn't running well. Alright, now let me show you the parts that I have. Here are the parts I have for this job. It's a new OEM pump, as well as a thermostat with the housing. The pump comes with a new gasket, and I'm going to put that into the car. Okay, let's begin. These older model M113 engines, they have a manual clutch, and in order to remove the water pump, you have to remove the clutch out of the way and the fan, so I'm gonna do that. The fan clutch is 36 millimeter and it is a regular thread, so you turn left to loosen it up. I'm going to remove this fan shroud so it won't be in the way. So I don't really have too much room here with this big engine on this car. I'm going to try to remove this out of the way. Next, I'm going to remove the belt, and it's a 17 millimeter for the tensioner. Now the belt out of the way, I can access the bolts for the water pump. There's a bracket over here that has two E10s on it. I'm going to remove it and move this bracket to the side. Next, I'm going to loosen this pulley. There's a cover. You can pop it off with a screwdriver. And such. The pulley bolt is a T50. This one won't pull out because of it's touching the radiator, and I don't really need it to come out. I just needed to make sure I put it back on the new water pump when I put it back, so I can tighten it. I just can let it sit loose like this. Now there is a E14 bolt over here that goes through the alternator, and this one you have to be kind of careful with because this likes to break off this ear on the engine, so you have to be very careful when you're turning it, not to force it too much. Okay, it's coming out nicely. This one does come out all the way. Now I'm going to start removing water pump bolts. There's a few different sizes, E12s and E10s. I'm going to remove this water pump pulley so it gives me a little bit more access. Visually at least, it's 410 on it. pulley comes right out. There are two hoses on the bottom of the water pump, and there's one hose on the top corner that you need to disconnect. I'm going to remove these two bottom ones first. I do have a drain plug under it already, not a drain plug but a catch can to catch the fluid. Okay, both bottom hoses are disconnected. They're pretty stuck on the water pump. You want to come off there easy. There's one more hose over here on top. I'm going to disconnect this one last. Now I'm going to try to remove all the bolts, and then I'll see if it needs anything else. I believe all the bolts are out. At this point the water pump should pop out. Yep, this. So it's just hanging on by that hose, and also there's a sensor over here, temperature sensor, that you need to tilt it up so it's not in the way. There's a wire over here. It's kind of easy to damage that sensor if you're not careful with it. It gives you enough room to move around it. Okay, now I'm going to try to disconnect this hose. I cleaned the mating surface already, so I'm going to put in the new gasket in. You make sure you put in a groove so it will stay. You don't need to put any sealant here where the gasket goes. However, you do need to put some thread sealer on the bolts, the ones that are especially the ones that are long and go through the timing cover, as those seal the timing cover. So you gotta make sure you put thread sealer there. I have to make sure I put in the idler pulley with the bolt through first before I put in the water pump, because if I don't put it, I won't be able to slide the bolt. Here's the thread sealant for the bolt. Make sure the gasket is correctly seated and doesn't get disturbed as you're putting this in. So the water pump is secured in place. I just need to connect the hoses and also put in the thermostat, and then continue. Here's I have the new thermostat I'm going to put in. Next I'm going to put in the pulley for the water pump. Next I'm going to put in the belt. Next I'm going to put the operator hose. Next I'm going to put this idler pulley cap back on. And next will be the shroud and the fan. Okay, the water pump is in, the thermostat is in. I put on the belt as well and the fan. As far as cooling system goes, everything is connected, all the hoses. I did put in coolant. Now I'm going to start it and let it idle for a while with the heater on so it can bleed the system. Looking good. I don't see any coolant leaks. I'm also going to do an oil change on this car, and then that should be it for this one. Alright, that's about it for this car. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. This was definitely an interesting car for me to work on. I liked it. It's interesting to see swaps like this. These models, I think they look great, especially slightly lowered with AMG wheels. I think it looks about right, like where I would want one of these if I had one. And it's a pretty cool car. I like it. Please comment, like, and subscribe. There are more videos to come.